This video is going to be a quick look at one play from the Ravens-Eagles preseason game in week one. It's a 4th and 1. I think it's the Eagles' fifth possession, I believe. It's a 4th and 1, and you can see they've got 11 personnel on the field, twins up to the top, one tight end, one running back, and then a Z, which I think is Greg Ward, down to the boundary. Let it run a couple of times. I forget who it was. Someone shared this play on Twitter, and they correctly called it triple option. Now, you may say, well, coach, it's a pass play. Looks like an RPO to me. I would agree, it's an RPO, but essentially, Greg Ward, who goes in motion, I would call him the Z because he's originally lined up, to the side of the tight end. He becomes basically what is conceptually the pitch man, in that the quarterback can hand it off to the running back. That's the dive phase. Quarterback can keep it, which he does. And I'll give you the end zone angle here in a moment. That's the second phase. First phase, running back. Second phase, quarterback. And then once the quarterback keeps it, most of the time, the pitch phase would be in the old school triple option. He'd be, out on this path, this, Zorro or hurry motion path, whatever people want to call it. In this case, they're just running the Z in front of the mesh. The quarterback is reading this outside linebacker. I think it's 59, Ham. And then this receiver here is going to intentionally bring his route into the middle of the field and screen Kevon Seymour, who is running with Greg Ward because it's man to man. The Ravens are just down one man here in the overall count, which in a lot of ways is really what option ends up becoming. Let's show you the end zone angle, then we'll come back to the all 22 for a moment. So here's the read man, Ham. Running back, Sermon is going to cross McKee's face. McKee, you'll see, is clearly reading him. We would tell Delshon Phillips, look, for the Ravens, played a hell of a game. He's got a man mentality here. I have no idea what the Ravens call it, but when we were playing man defensively, we would tell our inside linebackers, you have a man mentality on the back. You may not be responsible for him, but on run concepts, take a man mentality, meaning attack it, clear, don't be indecisive at all. Pause it here. You can see the quarterback reading the outside linebacker. He views this outside linebacker staying, somewhat square as coming down, hedging down to take the running back. Really, he's just kind of trying to play half man technique. And then Ward in motion is running out into the flats. You'll see from just off screen to the right, you'll see the number 2 receiver pick or screen off Kevon Seymour. Rod Woodson during the broadcast was talking about, and Rod Woodson is a fantastic broadcaster. Love listening to him. Obviously a Hall of Fame player. Great player to watch play back when he was with the Ravens and prior to that with the Steelers. But he kind of said, hey, Seymour's got to be with his man. It was one of those situations where, yes, you're correct. You've got to be with your man, but there's absolutely no way to deal with this screen if you don't switch stuff off. I would say that maybe in some of these situations where it's 4th and 1, I mean, we can't make large scale extrapolations from this. I just thought it was a cool way for the Eagles to run triple option on a 4th and 1. Options for the Ravens to possibly handle it, on the motion, roll Stevens down, and then bring Seymour back. But this is part of the reason, part of the way that this is really well designed, is that the motion man is the Z, which is normally going to be covered by a corner. This, you would normally have a safety roll back to center field if the other safety rolls up, just exchanging the relationship. And that's one of the reasons I think this is such a cool play. They're not doing this with a tight end. If the tight end went in motion, then maybe one safety rolls back and the other one rolls up. They're doing this with the number 1 receiver. So Seymour, the corner, is locked onto him, and you can see there's just absolutely no way for Seymour to deal with this at all. I'm always curious about like how these plays get documented by PFF and some of these other services. You're in coverage there, you're targeted, but there's absolutely no way that Seymour can get to that. I'm gonna tell you, in the meeting room, ain't nobody blaming Kevon Seymour for this. They need to have some kind of check in place if you start to see this stuff often. It's not just the Ravens that stuff like this works on in these short yardage situations. It looks like it actually might almost be a 4th and 2. It works across the board for teams that play man to man. You've got to kind of declare something, and it starts, with the motion, and then either, running this guy down the line to take away the dive, or run him right at the quarterback to force the give. If you want to let these linebackers, and I know Harrison's lined up at the edge here, if you want to let these linebackers be super aggressive and take that man mentality like I talked about. But the level that I coached at was obviously 1,000 times more simple and less complicated than the NFL level. One more time from the end zone. Just wanted to give you guys one look at it and just kind of correct something that I think that Rod Woodson had originally said. And, you know, he's a great, like I said, he's a great broadcaster. I love listening to him. But in this case, he only got one look at it. I'm guessing he don't have the replay, you know, view that we get. Although he was in the stadium, I don't know what angle they showed. This will be an example, if you ask me, of maybe the Ravens want to roll on motion from the boundary to the field. And then that will put Brandon Stephens, you can see how far out, you can see the bottom half of his body. I mean, we're just -1 in the count. We're just down a man in terms of the horizontal width of the field. We have man on number 1, man on number 2, which was this guy right here that Ardarius Washington was guarding. And then we just needed to either roll with the safety down and then roll Kevon Seymour back, or the read man, 59, I think Ham, just needs to run at the quarterback and force something. There's other options, other ways to do it. Those are just two that I know of, and you may have better ideas than I do. But cool play by the Eagles, great execution by some guys who, you know, are clearly not starters for their team, and an instance of where the Ravens just kind of got outflanked by a concept that really is just old school triple option. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the video. I'll take a look at one more play from the Ravens offense sometime today and try to get some content out for you guys late at night to enjoy. Let me know if you enjoyed the video in the comments section.